Good afternoon. After watching the tape, really just want to, say what I said last night. Obviously we thought the defense played really well in the game, and at the end of the day, we had some missed opportunities in the red zone. To punch it in and score. It could have been a different game in that way. So a lot of good individual performances by a lot of guys, and we have to build upon it. Right now the performance is the performance. And didn't come out the way we wanted it to. And now we need to look at each individual guy. So we're spending time during this mini bye to evaluate each guy first. And we come up with three things they're doing well right now and three things they need to improve on, and then the plan for each guy fundamentally to improve on that. And that's a very important piece for us to grow as a football team. So we're going to do that coming up this weekend. And then look at scheme. Look at offensive scheme, defensive scheme, and special teams, and exact same thing. Things that we're doing well, things we need to improve on, and how we're going to go about that. And that's an important thing. And then we're going to look at lineup, the lineup. So where people are we putting guys in a position to succeed? Is there anything that can create competition at any position on the football team? And that's healthy for us to be able to do that going forward. So that's going to be a big part of that as well. But we are improving. We're looking to improve. We're going to have a plan to improve, and we're going to get better throughout the course of the season. Like we said, we have a young football team, and we're going to figure out how to finish and how to close games, and we'll have a plan for that. And that's going forward. I visited with all the coaches, offense and defense this morning, and special teams individually, and we're going to have a plan set forward for that as we go forward here. So open to questions from there.
Matt, you talk about the 24-hour rule a lot. How do you, going into this mini-bye, make sure that the loss last night doesn't extend longer than you want it to?
Yeah, just communication. We're communicating with the staff, and then the staff's communicating with the players. It's this mini bye before we go on this 7-game stretch here that we have coming up. We have to do a good job of keeping everything in perspective. That we are growing, we are getting better, and really working on with each individual player. That's whole part of the plan. Hey, this is what you're doing well. This is what you need to improve on. Here's our plan to get that done. And I think when you have a mindset of growth that way, you will improve and you will get better. And then our units will function better, more consistently. So that's the plan.
You talk about scheme and looking at scheme.
Yep.
Because your offense sits here right now. Is Justin running the Bears' offense, or is the offense? Do you need to tailor the offense more toward his skill set?
Well, I think that's the whole plan. We're looking at when you say evaluate, scheme, evaluate players. That's part of the whole process. Are we putting our players in the position to succeed? And that's the quarterback position, or running back position, or receiver position. I think that's true with any position. So that's part of the process we're going through right now.
When you look at some of the red zone issues from last night, is there a common thread from when you guys went 0-3 in the red zone in New York? Is there anything that you can pull from that might have showed up last night, or are they different situations?
No. I mean, there were different play calls in those situations. I don't really see a connection there. It's just individual plays. We got to execute those.
On the final drive, when you get down to the 5, is there enough time in your head to run the football, just from a clock perspective?
Yeah, there was. You got to be on the ball, though. It could put you into it with no timeouts. It could put you in an ozone situation, depending on the down.
What's in those?
Ozone. That's just like you got to throw it out of bounds or touchdown. Yeah, so it's out of bounds or touchdown. But that's the risk you take there, that you could get into that situation.
Justin was understandably frustrated last night. What do you want him to do over the next few days to reset, and how much work do you want him to put in? How much do you want him to, just...
Yeah. So him and I visited this morning, and he's in a good spot. I know he was real frustrated last night, and he took some shots. They got a great D-line, and he took some shots, and he was in the open field where he took some shots in the open field. So he's a little bit sore today, but he'll be okay. And he's got a great mindset going forward about the improvement, what he's going to improve on, and the things he's going to work on with the offensive staff, and he's in a good way right now.
As a head coach, what was your concern about the frustration that Justin expressed publicly? you have a concern about it? What was your take on that?
No, I just said that, hey, I know we all have frustrations, but, really just reset your mind, have your eyes going forward. And I know in the moment right there, certainly you get frustrated sometimes, and that's how we are as humans. And, just to reset your mind and, hey, look forward, how we're going to improve and how we're going to get better, because, he did a lot of good things last night. The drives he had, I know we didn't punch him in, but we got down there, and to get the ball down there and some amazing plays that he made with his feet. He threw the ball on time and didn't have quite the passer rating he had before, because, just for whatever reason, taking sacks and all those things and not get rid of the ball. But he made some amazing plays. So I told him that everything's looking positive and just to keep his eyes forward.
He's such an emotional leader. I mean, everybody seems to follow his emotional lead. As a head coach, did you feel like what he said last night was something, even if it was real, that you had to nip in the bud? You know what I'm saying? That you had to address? Or
I don't think so. I think this game you have to play with passion, right? You have to play with emotion. You have to do that to play it the right way. You just do, and you have to put yourself out there. And every time you play this game, a piece of you is left on the football field. It's just the way it is. And if you don't do that, then you come out as, you can see it. It's not a spirited group, right? And we have a spirited group. We play with passion. We play with emotion, and that has to be done. And that's why we have the 24-hour rule. We got to reset and decompress a little bit and then move forward to the next performance. And I think that's an important thing for everybody to realize, not just the quarterback.
Matt, after the interception at the 5, and then on the subsequent drive, you guys have another trip into the red zone. Was there ever thought to kicking a field goal there when you guys are getting after?
Was that the 4th and inches? Yeah.
Well, the play to Herbert. So that was on.
Yeah, the 4th and inches. Yeah, we were going there. It was, so that was for us a go on that one.
Was Justin hit too often last night? And if you think he was, how do you make sure that your game plan puts in some protections for him? Throw away the scrambling. I know you really can't control that, but do you have to make sure that you give him the best chance to kind of stay as healthy as possible?
Yeah, I mean, there's the rhythm and timing of the passing game is all predicated on, the movement passes, the pocket when you are dropping back, and those are all things we're going to keep looking at, in terms of, helping guys inside or outside more, doing more things that can, help the offensive line, that can help the receivers, to help every group, so that's all we're looking at.
What is the physical process of you guys going back and evaluating, say, the offense? Do you look at every play? Do you cut?
You go back and look at your cut-ups. Yep, you go back and look at your cut-ups, and we do that every week. But we're going to look at them all together now that we can take a little breath here and look at all the cut-ups and see how we can improve.
I'm sorry. Does Luke and the position coaches do that? Bring it to you? Do you all do it together?
Do it by unit, and then we'll discuss on Monday.
A couple of passes that Justin threw got batted down, and obviously the interception too. Were those opportunities for him to maybe try to throw a little more touch, or were those situations where tip your hat defender made a nice play?
Yeah, I mean, it's the arm angle and the lanes, are always tough down there when the field shrinks in the red zone, and you got to have, it's his instincts. You got to have the instincts to be able to do that, and they made a nice play, and there was 3 guys there to tip it, maybe, I don't know, but you just got to change it around and move your arm angle. That's got to be thrown as a 1 ball though. That's got to be a tight ball, and it's got to be thrown in there tight. In that particular case.
What about the one to Mooney on that last drive? I think it was 2nd down at the end of the game when Mooney was out in the right flat.
Yep.
Was that one that could have been if he adjusts his arm angle?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Yeah.
Allen dialed up more blitzes than we're used to seeing. Was that something that
Say your first part.
Allen dialed up more blitzes than we're used to seeing last night? Was that something that you went in because you saw something with Washington, or is that one of those scheme changes you're talking about to try and generate some more?
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything. We got together. We didn't play very good on 3rd down the week before. We looked at what we were doing, and you put your heads together and come up with a plan, and whatever plan that we think is best for that particular team. And I thought they were 18% on 3rd down last night, and I thought the guys did a nice job.
is Braxton Jones one of those guys who will be under the microscope during this evaluation period? Because, and how tricky is that with a guy? You want to develop him, and there's a price to pay sometimes with rookies, but you don't want to lose games either. So how is he one of those guys you're going to be looking at? And what do you think about that? Just the idea that, you want to develop this guy, but,
Yeah, I would say that that's all encompassing. It's everybody. It's not just one person. There's everybody, needs to be evaluated at this point. And how we're going to get better is by evaluation, right? And again, I go back to what I always say, and it's the player and the coach and the player are a partnership. They have to do it together, right? So if it's Braxton Jones or Justin Fields or Kyler Gordon or Brisker, whoever that is with his position coach, they're in partnership to improve. And our job as coaches is to improve the players, number one. And we're never pointing fingers, right? Because it's a partnership. We'd be pointing the finger at ourselves. So we got to make sure that we are doing things to improve each guy.
I guess the question is it trickier with a younger guy who you want to develop?
No, I mean it's a learning. We know it's a learning process with a younger player, sure, because they're going to go through some ups and downs and some ins and outs as you go. For example, Kyler Gordon, you looked the way he played last night. Well, he played pretty good, didn't he? Right? So he's had a couple ups and downs during the course, but he's stayed the course with his eyes and his vision forward to improve. And he made a lot of good tackles, made a lot of nice plays on the ball, and I thought he played really well last night.
Matt, how do you evaluate the offensive line play in general after 6 games? Jessica, last night I think he's pressured like 40% of his dropbacks. How do you evaluate the group as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, it's all encompassing, right? So it's rhythm time of a passing game, right? It could be individuals, with their technique. I think it's all encompassing. So we have to look at each individual guy, and then look at scheme during this week off and see how we can improve.
Do you worry it'll be hard for you guys to evaluate Justin if he's under constant pressure for the remainder of the season?
I think you have to take that into evaluation. When he is clean and the timing and rhythm's there and he's delivering, I think that's what the design of the play is. And then when things break down a little bit, then you have to look at that as well.
Was EQ banged up last night? We didn't see him in the final drive, which usually he's on the field for.
Yeah, I'm still looking into that. So I'll be able to tell you later on that. Okay, thanks.